ideas I crave. Thought like that, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's the CEO and co-founder of Aptiva Health, none other than Mr. Eric Lowe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me.
Welcome, Mr. Eric on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Aptiva Health. So Aptiva Health is an independent multi-specialty group. We're one of the region's fastest growing independent healthcare systems based here in Kentucky. We're expanding to Indiana, have a presence online and a telehealth platform as well. But we do everything from immediate injury care, so like urgent care, but without being surrounded by sick people, to orthopedics, total joint replacement, orthopedic spine surgery, pain management, advanced imaging, physical therapy, psychology, psychiatry, neuropsychology, a lot of different healthcare specialties all under one roof. So that's really, in a nutshell, who we are at Aptiva.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Eric. Thank you. And today let's talk about be the broker. Why the best leaders build alignment instead of control. The word broker in leadership is not an obvious hero. It does not have the same ring as a commander or a visionary. What is the specific moment of frustration that made you realize that broker was actually the highest form of leadership?
Yeah, so like you said, I mean, when a lot of people think broker, they think of, maybe somebody that's a middleman that's not doing a whole lot of work and being able to take a percentage. And that's really not how I define a broker in either the first book that I've written, Be the Broker, or Broker Driven, or the Broker Mindset framework that I've created. Really, a broker in this sense is a person that connects people. It's about aligning mutual interests. It's about creating win-win-win scenarios. And it's about leveraging what you know and who you know to create the most value for other people. So instead of being a creator or a captain or the person in charge, like most people think, I think a lot of self-help books and a lot of business books right now all talk about being the master of your domain and storming the castle and making you the hero. And to me, in my personal experience in building Aptiva Health over the last 11 years, that's the opposite of what's brought us success. What's really brought us success is aligning interests in creating mutual beneficiality between parties and doing what it takes to make the patient, the provider, the system all win in that win-win-win model. So alignment and creating value is really how you connect and compound total value for everybody involved.
You draw a sharp distinction between a building alignment and exerting control. In a world often rewards decisive, controlling leaders, and what is the hidden cost of control that leaders don't see until it's too late?
Yeah, so a lot of leaders lead from a position of power and authority instead of alignment and teamwork. So what I've found, especially in building systems and creating those feedback loops to optimize the systems you build, it creates a team. If the person at the top is pushing down directives to their team, they're not going to create the best systems, and they're not going to be able to optimize the systems they build because they're not the ones in the foxhole. They're not the ones doing the job all day, every day. My job as a leader, as CEO and co-founder, is to have a vision and then to include my team in that vision so that they can help me build systems and then implement those systems and have the people that are integral parts of those systems then create a feedback loop to us so that we can continue to optimize. So it's just like if you think about compounding interest when it comes to investments, it's the same with systems that you build in a business. It's about making small changes that compound over time. And those compounded changes or optimizations lead to a much stronger system and create far more value over time than never making those small decisions over time and just utilizing the same game plan from the beginning. So ultimately, it's a difference of top-down approach versus teamwork.
Very well said, Mr. Eric. Many leaders believe that if they just build enough trust, alignment will follow. You seem to suggest alignment is more active, deliberate practice. What's the difference between trusting your team and actually aligning them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, part of what I talk about as far as leverage is concerned, so the four major pillars of the broker framework are leverage, alignment, systemization, and optimization. So, leverage, like I talked about at the beginning, is what you know times who you know. Alignment is what you're alluding to right now, where leaders believe that trust is all you need and then alignment will follow. Well, I challenge that to say trust is part of what you need, but credibility is more of what you need. And credibility is not just, I believe that you can do it. It's, I have seen and I know that you can do it. So by putting people in place that have proven themselves time and time again, it's not just trust, it's credibility that they've built. And you have to have both of those things to be able to create the alignment you need to be able to create systems, create a proper teamwork, and truly make a difference.
Credibility indeed. A seasoned CEO reads your topic says, this sounds soft in a crisis. I don't need alignment. I need the people to do what I say. How do you respond to this leader who believes control is the only thing that works when the stakes are high?
Well, I would challenge that with, if you create a culture of dictatorship, you're going to have an uprising. So what we want to do is we want to empower people and we want them to buy in to the mission. So creating a culture that is a servant leadership. So that's everything that I do. That's how I model my company. That's how I model when I coach Little League football. That's how I model my home life. I am going to be a servant first, and you're going to want to follow me because you see that I put myself in a position to where you will do whatever I ask because you know I'm not going to ask you to do anything I'm not going to do. So to me, a strong culture that's built on servant leadership and not just saying, but doing and showing up every day and allowing your people to see that you're going to do what you ask of them before you ask of them. What we have found over time is that at Tiva Health, we have people doing things above and beyond their job description because they believe in the mission. We have managers that will put on gloves and walk out into the parking lot and pick up trash. That is not their job. But when I model that for them, when I come into a clinic and I see the rug's dirty and I pull out the vacuum and I vacuum that rug, or I take out the trash and they see me do that, they then emulate that same action to their team because they know how impactful it is for them. And that's really what's created the culture that we have of servant leadership here at Aptiva Health.
Oh, very well said, Doctor Mr. Eric. If your leader who has only ever know how to command and control, what is the first practical habit they need to unlearn, and what is the first new habit they need to install to start acting like a broker, Mr. Eric?
Yeah, so I would say probably the most important thing for any leader is to know the biblical principle that pride comes before a fall. You are not better than the people that report to you. You are no different than anybody else that's living, breathing, or in your team. So just because you might have more education, more experience, or make more money every Friday when you get paid, doesn't mean you're different from any other human being that you work with. So the first step is really connecting. I don't think anybody goes anywhere in life without connecting with other people. You need to connect with your team. You need to show that you're not above. So that means if you have workers, you want to be present. You want to get out there and you want them to see you. If you sit in the perceived ivory tower, over time, you're going to lose respect because they see you as somebody that's reaping all the benefit without doing any of the work. So I say step one is humble yourself. connect with your people, make deep, meaningful relationships, and show them that you actually care. And you can't fake that. Unfortunately, if you care or not, it's pretty easy to perceive from another human being. So it's about being intentional to connect with your team, to connect with your customers, to connect with your clients. Anybody you do business with in your ecosystem, you have to have a true relationship with. I think, if all you're trying to do, and that's a constant theme in the book that I've written, is a lot of people have this get rich quick mentality, or where I'm going to use somebody to get what I want and extract something out of them. That's the opposite of the broker mentality. The broker mentality is about creating true connection, aligning people, and creating those win-win scenarios where I benefit, but you benefit as well. And one of the hard stops that we have in our business is, if our patients don't win, if our providers don't win, if our clients don't win, it's a no-win situation. We have to make sure all three parties are aligned before we implement a new process or make a decision that's going to impact all of those parties.
Mr. Eric, you argue alignment is worth building, but it takes a time and emotional energy. What is the actual cost in dollars, time, and morale of leaving misalignment undressed? And how do you make the business case for doing this hard work?
Yeah, it's a great question. So to me, everything's founded on purpose. It's founded on your why. Why did you get into business to begin with? If you're an entrepreneur, a lot of times we get into a business because of problem solving. Either we encountered a problem, or we see a need or a void in the market for a problem we want to solve. What I argue in my book and in my mindset is really, you're connecting and you're building credibility through lived experience and through how you show up. So how you show up should always be built on your purpose. What is your why that motivates you every day? Because if you don't have a why when you go into business, if you're only trying to solve a problem for money, it's like running a marathon on a treadmill. Yeah, you ran a far distance, but you stayed in the same spot the whole time without really making any change other than going a distance in the same spot, if that makes sense. So what I would say is, I don't see it as a time investment. It's a mindset for how you live life. If you're connecting with people, if you're building alignment, if you're building trust, if all those things pour into how you operate as a business leader. So it's, to me, not a time investment, it's a way of life.
Makes sense. Sir Eric, what happens when a leader tries to build alignment, but the other party is acting in a bad faith? It's a purely political or simply refuses to engage. When does the alignment become impossible, and what does the broker do then?
Yeah, so it has to be a relationship worth having. If two people aren't going to act in good faith, then it's not a situation that you can broker. There are always going to be bad actors. And in fact, I heard Warren Buffett quote something. He's like, it's just not worth business. It's not worth time. It's not worth the energy and the ultimate commodity of the time you have in life to try to work with bad people. There are going to be bad actors. And the best advice I can give is, like I said at the beginning, you can pick up from other people what their intent and what their motivations are. And you can find out fairly quickly if the person is in it for the long term or the short term. I recommend to people to do business with people that are in it for the long term. I don't care about winning every time. It's the long-term win that I seek. So for the broker, my suggestion is, if you find somebody and as soon as they break your trust, get out of that relationship. Avoid doing business with them. There are a lot more people to do business with in your market than people that are going to cause you more time, more energy, more stress. And even if it's one of your biggest clients, long term, you're going to be much better served by doing business with people that you can trust over time than just trying to make as much money as possible off somebody that may try to take advantage of you for short-term gain. So it's all that long-term mentality over short-term gain.
Control feeds ego in a way that alignment does not. It feels good to be the one with the answers. How do you help leaders reconcile their own need for significance with the quieter, more anonymous work building alignment?
So I say delegation is not abdication. So you're not removing yourself from your throne as a leader by delegating decision-making authority to your team. You're actually allowing to scale. So if you've trained them in the culture, in the mentality, in that broker mindset from day one, they've absorbed those things and they've built that relational capital that I talk a ton about. Relational capital is that earned trust, credibility over time that you've seen somebody prove themselves. Well, once that team member is proven, if you're still the one that controls all the decisions, if you're still the one that's the dictator, not the leader, then you're going to create a bottleneck for your business. Because if everything runs through you, you're not an entrepreneur, you're self-employed. You're doing a job over and over and over. The only way you can scale is by delegating. And again, delegation isn't abdication. You're not giving up your authority. You're not giving up your seat as the head boss in charge. You're really creating an environment where you can rely on your people. They can make decisions. They can push down those decisions and have other people create that feedback loop to make those systems better. And you can have the vision and focus on the vision. A leader should be a vision caster. That's, to me, what a true leader is. Lead by example, have a vision, and have a team that can execute based on what you've taught them. And that's through delegation.
Very well said, Mr. Eric. Very well said indeed. You're asking leaders to give up control, but your thesis is that this actually makes them more effective and influential. Can you walk us through the paradox or how releasing control actually increases leaders' true power?
Absolutely. So I can give you a personal example. In my book, I go through many case studies of some of the largest businesses you've seen, but for me, it's always easy to talk about personal experience. Up until a few years ago, I built and designed our website. I was doing our social media marketing. I was doing our digital marketing. I was ordering our apparel. I was ordering chapsticks. The CEO of a company ordering chapsticks. That sounds ridiculous, I'm sure, to you and your listeners. But what I had to teach myself is all these tasks can be easily delegated. And the more time that I free up for myself, the more I can focus on the vision of the business. So the best advice I can give people, especially if you're newer or you have newer hires or newer department heads, like I hired a new marketing director, start with the small things, okay? Start with those deposits of what I call relational currency, where the first 10 tasks might be small tasks. It might be, okay, I want you to source where we're buying our chapsticks. Am I getting the best deal? And now every time we need an order or our marketing department needs more collateral, you're the one that is doing it. Then I hired a digital content director. I had him show me on a day-to-day basis how he's designing things, how he's scheduling out those social media posts. And over time, very shortly, he was able to prove himself to me, and I was able to step away and focus on things that meant a lot more to the business than those day-to-day operational things. And that is what you have to do as a leader if you want your organization to scale. I'm not just saying trust blindly, but President, it wasn't Carter, it was, I can't remember which president it was, but it's trust but verify. And Dwight D. Eisenhower, I believe. So what I'm saying is that I'm going to provide you trust as you show yourself, and I'm going to verify, and to the point that you build that credibility necessary for me to step away and allow you to take over. And what that does is that builds confidence. If you have somebody that you've created as a manager or as a department lead, and you're constantly critiquing or involving yourself in their decision making, especially when it's small decisions, what you're doing is you're breaking that trust. You're breaking their ability to have self-confidence that they're going to be able to perform at the level that you expect them. The only way you're going to get the most out of people is to build trust and credibility, and that's by letting go once they've proven themselves.
Letting go, people, letting go. What happened to you, and what did you experience as a follower or a leader that made you need to write or to discuss this topic?
Yeah, so it was really just life experiences. I came from a fairly poor childhood. Had a lot of tumultuous times in my upbringing, all the way through my professional career. That really, I think, my story. And if you read "Be the Broker" and that the first 15 chapters go through that memoir of how not how I built that broker mindset that allowed me to, start Aptiva Health and grow Aptiva Health into what it is today. And what I've seen is just in the world, especially the business world, it's a lot of people perceive it to be the shark infested waters where it's a very, eat or be eaten mentality. And my suggestion to people is to really rethink that. Is when you're building a team and you're building relationships and you create trust and credibility in a market and you consistently show up and consistently prove that not only do you succeed, but you create a culture and a mission that people get behind. What's changed about Aptiva Health is, when we started the first 5 or 6 years, you're really just trying to survive. I mean, a lot of people say businesses fail within the first 3 years. I say it takes 5 or 6 years to get your footing. AI is changing that and some of these tech platforms, but in a service industry, especially healthcare, you have to build a reputation. And the best way to build a reputation is by the experience that people have when doing business with you or treating with you. When patients come into Aptiva Health, they don't just see a culture that is built on outcomes only. Our focus is on patient experience, not just outcomes. We want you to see the difference. We want you to feel the difference. We want you to know that you are getting something that is of quality, that's different than what's available anywhere else. And when people see that, when they feel that, they believe it. And then they go out and evangelize what you're doing and how you changed their life and how you impacted them to everybody else they know. And to me, that's the key to success.
To success for sure. And to wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. Eric, you put this idea out into the world beyond sales and speaking engagement. What is the quiet secret hope you have for this topic will do for one leader, one team, or one organization?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's trying to make impact. It's, teach a man to fish, he can fish for a lifetime, and that's what I want to do. I want to show what I've done to be successful and how it's changed me and how it's impacted our culture and how it's allowed us to scale and create purpose. And if you can anchor yourself to purpose and then go live that out through these principles, not only will you be more fulfilled in life and in business, but your entire mindset can change for the better.
Change for the better for sure. So, Mr. Eric, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, so Aptiva is aptivahealth.com, and the new broker-driven framework that I have out there is brokerdriven.com. You can go on there and pre-register to receive a copy of Be the Broker that'll be coming out this year. There's some free downloads and some free information on the Learn page. And this podcast and all the other podcasts that I'll be doing will also be available there for you to listen to. Hopefully gain some additional insight and take your first steps to be the broker.
Yes, people, be the broker. And if you need help, please call Mr. Eric Lowe. Mr. Eric, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Welcome, people. See you soon.